Israel strikes Iran in unprecedented attack. Source: Israel strikes Iran in unprecedented attack. Iran begins counterstrikes. Iran has fired hundreds of ballistic missiles toward Israel, according to state media. The Israeli military said it identified incoming missiles launched from Iran, and CNN has heard explosions in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Israel's attack on Iran. Israel earlier launched unprecedented strikes on Iran, targeting its nuclear program and military leaders. The attacks have continued on multiple cities across the nation. Iran's foreign minister said that Israel will deeply regret its attack. Trump warns Iran. President Donald Trump told CNN that the U.S., of course, supports Israel in its actions. Trump warned Iran earlier today to agree to a nuclear deal before there is nothing left. It's unclear if scheduled nuclear talks between the U.S. and Iran will go ahead this weekend. Military leaders killed. General Hossein Salami, the commander-in-chief of Iran's Revolutionary Guard and one of the country's most powerful figures, was killed in the attack. General Mohammad Bagheri, Iran's highest-ranking military officer, was also killed. Iran's retaliatory strikes have shaken buildings in Israel, according to former Israeli ambassador Michael Oren, who says he and his family are now in a safe room. Iran fired hundreds of various ballistic missiles toward Israel in what Tehran called the beginning of its crushing response to Israeli attacks Friday morning, according to Iran's official news agency, IRNA. Oren said he received warnings on his cell phone ahead of the strikes to tell us exactly, what to expect and where to go when the expected arrives. And the expected did arrive, he added. He pointed out the effectiveness of Israel's Iron Dome in averting some of Iran's missiles. If Iran has fired 100 rockets at us and 5 to 7 hit, that's par for the course, Oren said. At least 2 Israeli warplanes have been shot down in Iranian airspace, Iran's official news agency, IRNA, claimed on Friday evening. CNN cannot verify the claim and has reached out to the Israel Defense Forces for comment. Iranian munitions fell on a community within Tel Aviv, but no injuries have been reported so far, according to an Israeli police spokesperson. A short time ago, the Israel police received reports of fallen munitions in one of the communities within the Tel Aviv district. At this stage, no injuries have been reported, but property damage has occurred, the spokesperson said. Police officers and bomb disposal experts are currently working to isolate the impact sites, the spokesperson added. Another wave of dozens of missiles has been launched toward Israel, an Israeli Defense Forces, IDF, spokesperson said Friday night. Following an initial wave of munitions on Friday night, smoke could be seen rising from Tel Aviv, and explosions were heard in both Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. Iran has fired hundreds of various ballistic missiles toward Israel in what Tehran called the beginning of its crushing response to Israeli attacks on the country Friday morning. Video from Tel Aviv showed incoming rockets breaching Israel's Iron Dome and smoke rising amid the city's skyscrapers. Explosions were heard in both Jerusalem and Tel Aviv, according to CNN journalists on the ground. An Israeli military press briefing was cut short on Friday evening local time because of an incoming Iranian attack on central Israel, according to an Israeli official. Effie Defrin, spokesperson for the Israel Defense Forces, was answering questions from journalists when an announcement was played over a speakerphone. The broadcast was then cut short. In a televised address on Friday evening local time, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei said his country's military will respond powerfully to Israel's earlier strikes on Iran and bring ruin upon the despicable Zionist regime. Iran has said that its retaliation on Israel has begun on Friday evening local time, according to state media IRNA. All of Israel is under fire from Iranian projectiles, the Israel Defense Forces said on X. Large explosions have been heard in Tel Aviv, Israel, according to CNN's team on the ground. The Israeli military said it has identified incoming missiles launched from Iran toward Israel. Defense systems are operating to intercept the missiles, a statement from the Israel Defense Forces read. It has instructed the public to seek shelter. New York City authorities have increased security at houses of worship and Israeli diplomatic sites following Israel's strikes on Iran, Mayor Eric Adams said at a news conference. The mayor cited an abundance of caution, as well as the city's significant Israeli and Iranian populations, as the reasons for the move. We are praying for peace in the region, and we are preparing for safety in our city, Adams said. New York City is going to continue to remain the safest big city in America, and will do whatever it takes to keep New Yorkers safe. Every one of you should be able to go to your house of worship, your schools, your jobs, your employment, without any form of unnecessary disruption, the mayor added. The NYPD confirmed in a post on X that it was deploying additional resources to Jewish, Israeli, and other sites throughout NYC and coordinating with our federal partners. The increased security presence will continue across all 5 boroughs for the next several days as long as it's necessary, said NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch. Crowds of demonstrators in Tehran called for swift retaliation against Israel and questioned whether Iran should continue negotiations with the United States over a potential nuclear deal. See it here. Israel has urged its citizens to stay close to protected spaces in a warning that Iran could try to carry out strikes across the country. President Donald Trump told Axios that Israel's strikes on Iran could help his efforts to secure a nuclear deal with Iran. Asked if he thought the attacks jeopardized the process, Trump said, "I don't think so. Maybe the opposite. Maybe now they will negotiate seriously." He reiterated his suggestion that there's still room for a deal. "I couldn't get them to a deal in 60 days. They were close. They should have done it. Maybe now it will happen," Trump said. Axios reported that Trump declined to give details about a possible call today with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. CNN has reached out to the White House about timing of the call. Tehran's air defense system has been activated after a number of strikes were carried out across Iran on Friday evening local time, the country's official news agency, IRNA, reported. News received indicates that enemy projectiles have been intercepted by Tehran's air defense system, IRNA reported. Fresh airstrikes have been targeting Tehran, Iranian state media reported earlier. A missile that Israel said was launched from Yemen landed in Hebron, in the West Bank on Friday evening, according to the Israeli military. No interceptors were launched, the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, said, adding that the details of the incident are under review. Israeli authorities discussed the price we'll have to pay before launching their overnight attack on Iran, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said. There were doubts, people were asking questions, mostly about 2 things, in regards to our capabilities and in regards to the price we'll have to pay, Netanyahu said in a pre-recorded video. Discussing the possibility of a counterstrike from Iran, Netanyahu said, "I tell you there will be. We have hit a considerable part of the Iranian military leadership. We hit a considerable part of the nuclear scientists leading their nuclear program. We are also acted against their air defense. This came as surprise to them. Israel's decision to strike Iran in the early hours of Friday morning was not made lightly. Israel's UN envoy Danny Danon said at a news conference on Friday. The decision to act last night was not made lightly. It followed repeated violations by the Iranian regime, continued deception, and an absence of meaningful international consequences, Danon said. Danon claimed that his country had uncovered clear evidence that Iran was planning a surprise attack on Israel. Israel could not and would not wait for that moment to arrive, he said. Danon said that his country has nothing against the people of Iran, telling journalists, "Correction. This post has been updated to correct the ambassador's last name." Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said Friday that Israel coordinated with the United States in advance of the attack on Iran, and the Trump administration knew about the strike. "I will not speak for him. He speaks very persuasively and very firmly, and said Iran should not have nuclear weapons. They should not have enrichment capabilities," Netanyahu added. Keep in mind, Secretary of State Marco Rubio said in a statement Thursday that there was no U.S. involvement or assistance in the strikes.